What's going on, guys? Happy Saturday. John Hendricks coming at you from Saints News Network, talking another round of Saints training camp today. And of course, before we break down all the cool action that we saw today, which was firstly one of the hottest days in New Orleans, probably in Metairie, it was a scorcher. We'll get into that in a second. But if you own a business in the greater New Orleans area, be sure to contact my friend Justin Burgess over at BenPro for all of your health insurance and employee benefits needs. 504-888-8038. Give Justin Burgess a call. I promise you, he will take care of you. You are in good hands. Give him a call. All right, guys, let's talk about it. Hot day in Metairie. Noticeably hot. Now, it was just one of those things where the sweat just kind of pours down. It's just kind of miserable in a way. But, you know, and it translated on the football field, translated on the football field, players getting hydrated more towels over their necks, being on a knee at some points for more in between drills and stuff. I mean, it was a scorcher today. And there were still fans out there, still a lot of good action today. Let's kind of get into some of the meat and potatoes and get you back to enjoying your day as we control or completely talk more about Saints training camp. We've got plenty of practices. Already the first week is down. So today, as far as absences go, you got Jimmy Graham that was kind of there for a brief period, but he was not participating in practice today. He ended up having like a veteran rest day. So look, Dennis Allen saying that that's going to be very common for a lot of these players. You know, Michael Thomas only participated in one team rep drill today, did participate in some of the practices. So I don't know if it's say limited, but in some aspects limited in a way. But, you know, he was not there. Obviously, Jimmy Graham and Jabari Zuniga, he was also not there. The defensive end, he was not in attendance today. That was really the only absence. So, you know, I mean, overall, it's a good sign. Cesar, Ruiz, and Ryan Ramczyk are back. That's what you want to see. Ruiz talked to us after practice. He feels good. He feels good about where he's at. He said he's wearing normal shoes now. You know, he's kind of been on this ramp-up period, but that's just great news for Cesar Ruiz and where they kind of envision and the big things that they're expecting. You know, today was part of NFL's Back Together weekend where they had all these different, you know, you got the bands there. You had David Carr from NFL Network out there. You had just a lot more spectacle and pomp and circumstance as the NFL celebrates this, all 32 teams and such. But going to the action, a few things that I would say takeaways, because obviously, you know, go to saints.media, si.com/NFL/Saints to check out all of my notes, recap, observations, all those types of things. But a few things I want to hit on. First thing I think would be just kind of the usage for Rashid Shaheed. Wasn't a big deal, but maybe it is. And there was a couple of plays or some formations out, you know, just walkthroughs. He's running wheel routes out of the backfield. Maybe it's a Pete Carmichael design. Maybe they're just trying something. They did run a jet sweep with him later, you know, but he's obviously a weapon. But, you know, look, you got two back set. He's on the left side, runs a wheel route. Now, the play didn't work. You didn't hook up on that one. But, you know, those are going to obviously – and it didn't work because of pass interference on Smoke Monday. But, you know, it's those types of plays that you want to see more creativity in this offense. And so if you have a healthy Mike Thomas, Chris Olave, who was playing in the slot today, and you got Traquan Smith on the one outside and then Brian Edwards on the other side. So interesting seeing Olave also get some slot reps because those types of wrinkles happen throughout camp. But, you know, you got your full complement of weapons. You have Foster Moreau in there, Juwan Johnson, Jamal Williams, Alvin Kamara, Shaheed, Thomas, and Olave. I mean, and then Taysom Hill. You're not even talking about him really, and then possibly Jimmy Graham in that mix. It has the potential to be a really potent offense, and I'm excited to see more of it. And obviously Monday when the pads come on, a lot more that we'll be able to see. But what I can also go into my next points besides Rashid and Chris Olave is the fact that there might be a pretty good run game this year. Now, the third team, when you're looking at third team drills and all this other stuff, you having big runs, you're like, it's kind of expected, all those things. I get it. Play devil's advocate. I understand. But this year, I think what we've seen through several practices is that this is a better run team to the outside, where they're doing stretch reads or stretch plays, zone reads, all those types of things. They are getting to the corners a little bit faster. Maybe the blocking's a little bit more crisp. Just the assignment and the execution has looked a little bit better. This might be a better running team this year. And that's scary because they were pretty good, decent last year, and they had Mark Ingram. A lot of that was Taysom Hill. Kamara was used a little bit more than we probably liked, obviously, and that's why they're going to try to scale him back in some aspects and, monitor and be wise with how they use him. But, with Jamal Williams and Kendry Miller, it has a chance, an opportunity to be something really good as far as the offensive rushing attack would go. On the other side, look, defensive line. We've talked about Peyton Turner a few days, right? And he had another pretty good day, but Carl Granderson looked really good out there. He had a couple of rushes, beating Trevor Penning on some pass plays, and it wasn't just him. Tano Passignon was there. I even got some stuff from Isaiah Foskey that I wrote in my notes. Not that he got pressures after the quarterback, but I just love his first point of attack and his moves, the push that he gets after he starts getting going and such. So I'm encouraged there. I want to see more from this pass rush when the pads come on. We talked about Colin Saunders. He was a 324-pound guy playing down more to 315, 318. You could see him move a little bit better and such. But, this defensive line, we've talked about it. The pressure is on them. They have got to be more productive when it comes to the sack department. And I get it. Cam was his own player, and you had Demario Davis and Caden Ellis last year and Carl Granderson doing his thing down the stretch. But, they got to lead from the trenches. And with guys like that, what we're seeing so far is encouraging. Will it stick when the pads come on? That's the biggest thing. We've talked about the offensive line some. Still looking at rotations. You got formations sometimes or plays where you got James Hurst at left guard with Trevor Penning at left tackle. Then they kicked Hurst out at left tackle, Andres Pete at left guard. I mean, there's all sorts of formation types of differences that they're making and such. Lante Taylor got to start on the outside opposite of Marshawn Lattimore. Again, we're kind of getting wrapped up in this Adebo versus a Lattimore battle. I mean, Adebo versus Taylor battle. But one of the things that I've said on this, and we talked about it, Ross Jackson and I talked about it just overall, where things could go is it's not really who's going to win the job, because I could see a space where Bradley Roby's going to end up playing the slot, and Taylor is getting slot reps, with 13s and such. He's learning that position, obviously, but a situation where depending on what's going on in the game, they're going to probably try to rotate Adebo and Taylor as far as the starting outside corner opposite of Marshawn Lattimore. And a lot of this hinges on Marshawn being healthy. So again, it's just one of those things you keep an eye on. You see what happens, but we can also see it work differently. Blake Grupe, talking about him, he made all 6 of his kicks yesterday. We pointed out Will Lutz missed 1. We're not going to go crazy yet. It was a good showing. Grupe almost missed 1. It was just inside, but it was still good. But, again, we talked about it. Legitimate kicking battle. Lou Headley, mixed bag when it comes to punting today. But, look, overall, just some of the other highlights. I mean, you had A.T. Perry show up a little bit more today, had 3 catches, 2 and 7 on 7. He was getting a little bit more work kind of with the first team offense, catching him for Derek Carr, and then he caught 1 in team drill later on from Jake Hayner. So, look, I really like the idea of Perry trying to emerge a little bit. A little bit of a struggle for Traquan Smith today. He did make a couple of catches. He also had some areas. Look, he's one that I thought would be kind of on the roster bubble. I know some people have been giving him a roster spot and stuff on the early 53-man predictions, but he's just got to be consistent. And I know Dennis Allen said it. Look, he hasn't been healthy the past couple of years. This is the time where he has to make it go. And you need 4 and 5 wide receivers, maybe 6 this year, depending on how they assemble the final roster. It's going to be tough. And Derek Carr was on NFL Network. This is going to be hard when it comes down to final cuts, because there are so many guys out there that are doing exceptional. This competition that the Saints are having, some risers that I've talked about. I mentioned Jack Heflin the other day. He's another one, made a run stop. He's a guy that, keep tabs on. Not saying he's a guy that's going to make this roster. Same thing with Troy Pride. He's another one. Keep an eye out for it. But, training camp, up until now, 4 days in, we've seen a lot. We're going to see even more. But when the pads come on Monday, that's what separates the men from the boys, so to speak. That's when the fun, the intensity picks up. We have off on Sunday. Everybody has off on Sunday. We're back at it on Monday, and the pads are on. Fans are going to be out there. We should see some hits. Hopefully we can, cross fingers, stay injury-free. That would be the best case scenario. But, look, it's a chance for us to gauge more about the offensive lineman or the defensive lineman, and just really, is the pass rush real? the running reel, all these types of things. You know, I'm excited to see it as you guys are. And look, I appreciate all the support. It's great to meet some fans today. Obviously, if you see me out there, I'm working a good bit, but you know, it's say hey in between when there's special teams drills or something. I'm still paying attention, but you know, there's all sorts of fun stuff going on. If you haven't checked it out, go to si.com/NFL/Saints or Saints.media. See all the detailed notes and observations, and then check out our video section, because every time we have an interview, no matter what player, DA, whoever, that all goes on our video side and such. So we appreciate the support. Again, if you have a business, Justin Burgess is your man over at BenPro in the greater New Orleans area. Give him contact, get him a call, tell him John Hendricks sent you for your business. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We will talk at you very soon. Thanks.